that you are all as able to participate as you would like in a couple different ways. So if you'd want to, you're always welcome to turn your cameras on if you'd like. Share your smiling, maskless faces with us safely. Now, there is no need to be Instagram perfect, y'all. I'm on day like, I think 7 of the dry shampoo messy bun combo. There is no shame in that game. And so whether you are at a corner office or your living room table, it doesn't matter if you are in your bathrobe or a 3-piece suit. We don't care. We want to meet you where you are. Now, if you don't want to participate with your camera, that is fine, y'all. No pressure. You don't have to. You're perfectly welcome to just stay back behind your avatar. But just be aware that you can participate in multiple ways as well, not just with your camera. So if you do want to participate in the chat, that's awesome. I'll give you some details on that in a second. But whether this is your first event or your 50th makes no difference. We are recording today. And what that means for you is you don't have to take notes. You get to sit back, relax, enjoy the conversations that I'm about to have with some of the amazing women from SoftwareOne. And then in about 4 to 5 business days, we will email everybody with a link to where you can rewatch this video when we post it on our YouTube channel. Now, we are live streaming to YouTube right now. Hi, YouTube. Oh, my bad, y'all, I misspoke. The 4 to 5 days is how long it's going to take this video to live on powertofly.com. But if you want to see it sooner than that, like, you know, if you're impatient like some of us, you can head over to our YouTube channel. The video is usually posted there by end of day. And then you can check out, there's like a you know, kind of round up some of our greatest hits are there. We've got some good playlists. But truly, y'all, if you want the access to the mother load, like the full resource bank of Power to Fly, it's entirely free. And we want to put these resources in the hands of as many people as possible. So please, please, please feel free to explore on powertofly.com. You can check out our YouTube channel as well. That's awesome. But truly, y'all, check out powertofly.com. Let your friends, family, relatives, whoever know about these resources. That's how we think we're really going to move the needle when it comes to things like pay equity in the workplace, gender parity. This is the kind of stuff we want to see. And if you are here, you know, partnering with Power to Fly and SoftwareOne this morning, these are things that you probably care about too. So the other thing I want to encourage y'all to do, like I said earlier, is to participate by chatting. So you're welcome to jump on into the group chat if you'd like. I'm actually hanging out in there right now. So please feel free, dive in there and let us know where you're joining from. I'm coming to you from Toledo, Ohio. This is land that belonged to the Fox, Kickapoo, and Potawatomi tribes in my area. So if you know whose land you're on, you're welcome to share. And either way, we'd love to know where you're calling in from and how far our global audience spreads. So please feel free to chime in there. And hi, Efimina and Rosie Smith for joining us for your first times. We really, really appreciate that. Now, the only other thing I want to highlight, like I said, ask questions, ask early, ask often. And as we are taking part in both the chat with our fellow attendees, as well as, you know, asking questions and stuff, I do want to refer you really briefly to our code of conduct. Okay, this is all right here. It's a giant like wall of text, but basically what it is boilerplate legalese that means don't be a jerk. Okay, just operate from a place of kindness and respect. It's pretty hard to go wrong from there. If you want extra details on that, just DM me. You can find my name, Meg Alexander, in the dropdown. All right, now, before I introduce you to the amazing women I get to speak with today, I do want to tell you just a little bit about SoftwareOne. Now, they've been a great partner of Power to Fly's for a while. They've been a partner of ours for as long as I've been with the company, so probably about 5.5 years at least. They've been an amazing partner with us. We've hosted a lot of events with them, and they're one of those companies that I think needs to be known even more so than they already are. So make sure that if anything that we're talking about today like kind of piques your attention, check out SoftwareOne's page on powertofly.com. There's some great resources on there. Obviously, the jobs tab is what most people come for. It's this one little right guy right here. That's where you can search and apply to roles right from powertofly.com. I do encourage that for a couple of reasons. The biggest one being if you apply via a link from powertofly.com, there will be at least one Power to Fly person who has an extra eye on your application as it moves through the process with these various companies. So it's not going to hurt you if you don't apply through us, but it can't hurt you to it can't hurt you to apply via us, if that makes any sense. Hopefully I didn't garble that too bad. I've also got some other tips and tricks on ways you can utilize this page in your job search to make the job search or the interview stage a little easier. So if that's something that interests you, hang on till the end of the event and I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can make this page and other company pages on powertofly.com work for you. All right, now to start us off with our amazing team from SoftwareOne, we have Sam. Now, Sam is a talent acquisition partner for UKIE as well as global senior hires. Sam, before we start in on questions today, what would you like our audience members to know about you?
Okay, so first of all, where I'm located. So I'm based near Oxford, in the UK, and we were asked to present a fun fact. So I was thinking, oh, what can I say here? So fun fact, I own a very beautiful large ginger cat, and apparently he looks like me. Lots of people say he looks like me because I have slightly ginger hair. So there we go. And apparently it's quite a common thing that people do can look like their cats that have the same coloring. So there we go. Fun fact for me. In terms of what I do, so I lead UK and Ireland recruitment, mainly sales roles are the ones that I focus on, and I also work on some global senior hires. I've been working in executive search, so senior level search, for about 30 years now, so a long time in for lots of different companies, lots of different backgrounds. And I have worked with SoftwareOne for 3.5 years. I started as a contractor for 3 years, and then I went perm in March, which is amazing, and I love it. And I'm also on the UK Women in Tech Committee, which is an absolute honour, a pleasure, and we have a lot of fun on that committee. So it's great looking at all things women in tech, particularly for the UK region to start with at SoftwareOne.
Very cool. All right, I have to ask, what is your cat's name?
The cat is called Tango because he's
Tango?
orange, like the pink.
Yes, 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 yes. Now,
Yeah.
do y'all in the at least in America, we have what we refer to it as the cat distribution system.
Oh, okay.
Especially when it comes to orange cats, there's a single brain cell that all orange cats share, and so like that some like,
Wow.
you'll find posts on social media of like, oh yeah, Harry got the brain cell today, and like it was his thing to use it on. So if they don't already have that as part of cat culture in England, I'm going to demand that you start spreading that because it's fabulous and it's one of those headcanons
Definitely.
that like doesn't hurt anybody. So like I've just
Yeah.
decided,
Sounds great.
yeah,
Perfect.
all right. Okay, joining Sam on stage, we are going to talk to Liz. Now, Liz, let me bring you up here. There we go. Now, Liz is the head of Academy for APAC and EMEA. So that's Jesus, Asia, Pacific Islands. I'm gonna completely mess it up. Liz, your for your alphabet salad, it's Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, or Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then APAC is what? I can never remember this one.
Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then Asia, and then Pacific, which is Australia and New Zealand.
Pacific. Okay, I keep wanting to put like three things in there. It's like no, just Asia and the Pacific. Okay, bueno. All right. So what should our audience know about you today?
Okay, so my full name is Pun Divya Elizabeth Mahendran. That's a mouthful. So I've kind of removed my first name, and at work I go by Elizabeth Mahendran or Liz Mahendran. I am not a cat person, but I am a dog person. A weird fact, not a fun fact, but a weird fact for me, I kill plants. I cannot have plants at home. I water them, I don't know. I touch them and they die for some reason. So that's a weird fact about me. I've worked in L&D for about 18 years, and I'm actually very passionate about developing young talent. I started out wanting to be a teacher when I was in my fourth grade. Everybody who knows me knows the story. And life took me in different places where I couldn't do my MPhil. So I ended up being a content writer. And now I'm working with young talent. I'm working with career changers. I'm working with returnship for women. And it's been very empowering and it's been very fulfilling. So that's me.
That sounds incredibly satisfying. I very much resonate with thinking that you want to do something and just sort of discovering along the way that you've kind of backdoored your way into that. I think it's a wonderful feeling to have. I'm an animal person, but I only own dogs. If is there like a specific type of dog that's your favorite? Do you have a pet dog? What's your stance on that?
I like German Shepherds and I like Shih Tzus. I know size-wise, yeah, completely polar opposite, but somehow I love them both.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. There's great things about both big dogs and small dogs. Mine are like sentient Ottomans. I've got a Frenchie and an English bulldog. Oh God, so loud. But not necessarily as functional as say a German Shepherd would be. So Definitely. I love that. Oh, and we've got a riotous discussion about self-watering plant tools happening in the discussion, like in the chat here. So if you have a vote on this, weigh in. For me, ice cube watering. It makes it impossible to overwater
Whoa,
a plant. Water with ice cubes instead,
something
because you can see
interesting.
how much water you're putting in one. I'm telling you, it changed the game for me. I killed cactus before. So truly.
Right now, I have one money plant stem that's in my living room and it's in water, and I don't have to touch it. I have a friend who comes in every 15 days. Whenever he comes home, he changes the water. I'm like, if I touch it, it's going to die. So I'm not going to touch it.
That makes me so happy. I can't even tell you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this with us this morning, Lynn. Love it. All right. Last but not least, we are going to bring Mariana up on stage. Mariana is the ESG Social Program Manager. Mariana, before we jump into our questions, what else should our audience know about you today?
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. So I am based also in the UK. I am close to London in a city called Reading, but I am originally from Mexico. So I think that's part of a fun fact for me. I am Mexican and I always joke around like I am like a tourist ambassador for my country. And I always try to like tell everyone just go and visit Mexico. It's a great country. The other fun fact about me, well, I think it's also a weird fact, is that I am always drinking something. I'm the person who would have 2, 3 beverages around me. So you'll see me during this hour drinking some water. So just to give some context about me, my whole professional career, I've been working on corporate social responsibility and social innovation. That's my passion. I like to feel that my work has some positive impact, and I found that within CSR and ESG. And I've been working at SoftwareOne for 1.5 years almost. So it's been amazing seeing how SoftwareOne develops in this topic. So that's a wrap for me.
I think that's amazing and very, very, very excited to see, what else we can pull from you for today's event, because this is going to be really, really good. So, okay, let's get all of our speakers brought back up on stage here. There you are. And there's Liz. Okay, so we're going to start diving in on questions. Now, we compiled questions based on what our registrants told us, so what you all said you wanted to know at the time of sign up. Now, we've eliminated redundant questions and tried to kind of like group things in an order that makes sense. But since you all are here live, took your time, to be here with us for the recording, we want to reward you for that. So if you have questions, ask early, ask often. That is going to be the best way to make sure that you get your question addressed today. And if you tell me what you want to know, then I can ask. That way we can make sure that the time that you spend with Powerfly and SoftwareOne today is worth it. So ask early, ask often. And if you have questions or comments that you'd like to raise, but you want to be kept anonymous, no problem. Just DM them to me. You can find my name, Meg Alexander, in the drop down in your chat pop-up. All right, Sam, I want to go to you first. Could you take us through what the typical applicant would experience for, if they were applying to SoftwareOne?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, it sounds simple, but apply online. So whether that's via our website or wherever you see the job ad. And then that will be screened by a member of the talent acquisition team. Following that, you'll have a short call with one of us, and that'll be a really good opportunity for you to find out more about SoftwareOne and to find out more about the job. And so we can give you lots of details, and it also is a chance for us to find out about you, to learn more about your experience, etc. And then following that, you will be sent a short assessment, which is a kind of a mix of, it's kind of a personality assessment and tests various different things. And that's kind of useful for us to have, to see how you would maybe fit into the team in terms of personality and, different areas of your kind of your skills. And then following that, you'll have an interview. You'll go into the interview process, and that can be a mix of via Teams, and then usually it will be in person in our offices for like final stage interview. Then there'll be a short time of evaluation, both on your side and our side, because it's very much about, I always say this to candidates, it's very much about candidates finding out about us as well and the job, and whether you as a candidate feel that it's a fit. It's not just about us finding, thinking whether you're a fit for us. And then hopefully from there you become a member of SoftwareOne.
Yeah, all right. I like that. I think that's a good kind of like overview and kind of, gives us a good place to start. The one thing that I did want to dive in a little bit more is just because the focus of this talk is on, women in
Yeah.
SoftwareOne. What does that interview or application process look like for women?
Yeah.
Are there steps that y'all have taken to make this a more female-friendly
Yes.
process?
Yeah, yeah, we have. So we are passionate about women joining us, women in tech, whether that's at the junior level, whether that's at the senior level. We love women to join us. So a lot of the focus of my role is around really attracting and retaining women in tech. So a number of areas that we're looking at. So first of all, we've been looking at our job ads and using AI and various tools to look at the kind of language that we use in job ads. Are we using the kind of language that's going to attract women? So we're looking at that whole area, but also in terms of the interview process, we're making sure that we, as far as we possibly can, we have women on the interview panel. So, when you come in for your final interview, whether it's your first interview, you're not coming in as a woman and there's a row of guys, nothing wrong with guys, of course, they're facing you, but we have a woman on the interview panel. Then we also have what we call a coffee chat, which is open to men and women. But it's an opportunity in the context of women, for women to have 15 minutes, can be virtual or can be actually in person, to come in, sit down, have a coffee chat with another woman in this case, and it's nothing to do with the interview process. So it could be somebody from a different area of the business who will come and have a chat with you about what is it like working at SoftwareOne? What's it like from the inside for a woman to be working at SoftwareOne? So we've introduced those which have been really helpful and really successful. And then just broadly as well speaking, we have our Women in Tech events for the UK, which has started up since March, and that's been hugely encouraging. I can talk about that later if that's something you want to talk about as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's keep diving in on this. Let's see, Liz, I'm gonna go to you next. So let me bring you up on stage here. Can you tell us what your journey as a female leader in the APAC and EMEA regions has been like, and how do you think that has shaped your career?
Okay, seeing me in spotlight's a little weird, but as you know, Elizabeth here, I'm from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. Right now I'm in Madrid, but I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. So there are two things that I wanted to bring up. One is I'm in SoftwareOne for 1.5 years, and I've been working with the APAC and EMEA in SoftwareOne for the past 9 to 10 months. But in my previous roles, I have also worked globally from US, Europe, Australia. And the struggle is real. Especially before you get to the leader position, you will see a lot of discrimination, not just in terms of the fact that you're a woman, but also sometimes in terms of the ethnicity. There are certain expectations, there are certain ways people see you and expect you to behave. And I've seen that. I've seen that in my previous organization, a couple of them actually. And sometimes it really gets you down. You don't want to work in that place anymore. You're wondering, why are these men and sometimes, a lot of times for me actually, women are biased against you as a woman as well. Um, it's it's difficult, but what I realized and what I worked in the last 10 years is that you have to stay consistent. When you consistently deliver, when you consistently show that you know what you're doing, people start taking you, looking at you more than who you are into who you are. What do you bring to the table? What value are you adding? And that's what people look at. It takes time. And I'm not saying that sometimes it's not just for women, it's for everybody, right? Everybody looks at you as who you show outside, and they don't look at what you can bring as value. I've learned in the last 10 years, if I can show that value that I bring and I remain consistent in that, I will get to where I want. So right now, I'm actually taking care of the global academy, although I go by head of academy for EMEA and APAC, and I oversee the Americas right now. But I got here because somebody I worked with 5 years ago saw the work that I did, and she recommended that, maybe you should look at this person. She spoke to my boss and said, she's good. Why don't you talk to her? And the rest is just history. This is a job that I wanted. This is where I wanted to be. And I got the role. So being consistent in whatever you do is the only thing that really, really pays off. That's been my journey and that's been my learning.
I like that. I mean, it kind of goes to what we talk about a lot about like kind of creating your own personal brand, right? And the idea of being conscious and proactive about what you want other people to say about you when you're not in the room. And so
Yes.
I think, yeah, you make a really good point. And I also thank you for calling that out too, because like as much as as much as we all rail against patriarchy, it's not always just dudes helping to uphold it, right? And don't get me wrong, y'all. It was a pick me. I was a pick me girl back in the day. It was terrible. It was awful. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do it. It's awful. But now that we know better, we do better, right? So now that we know this, we can kind of start picking these things apart and saying like, oh, am I helping or am I just very much not helping right now? So I really appreciate you calling that out because sometimes we can be just as detrimental to the process. So I think it is really important to, call out that you have to be a girl's girl. And it has to be consistent. And it's just like allyship, y'all. It's a verb. So you have to keep at it. You don't get to like check a box once and then you're done. But I love, Liz, that none of this has made you lose your drive for wanting to keep developing that new talent, for wanting to, it's a common trait, right? It's this idea of,
You're on mute, Meg. You're on mute, Meg.
like, it's one of those things where like, it's great that you can keep doing this and keep developing people because like that, for me at least, my whole goal is like, I don't want to be, it's great if I'm the first or I'm the only in this room, but I can't be the last. So I think that that's really, really powerful. All right, let's see. Now, when it comes, like we've talked about how you have kind of a foot in different global regions, what has that been like for you, trying to operate, across different cultural contexts?
It's been a learning journey because from in India, the way we look at things is very different. We do follow a hierarchy. We are very bureaucratical. It's a patriarchal society in most states. In some places, it's matriarchal, but still, you do go behind the scenes and push the man forward. That's the place that I grew up in. But what surprised me as I started working was in Asia, there are so many different countries, and each one is different from the other. So when you can navigate through the cultural nuances of Asia, I think it's easier to also be able to adapt to another continent, another region. But it was a little difficult to completely take over the EMEA region as well, because however traditional that we think we are in the Asia region, it's a little bit of an opposite, but similar. You have your family values, you have all of those things that's similar, but the mindset is very different. And for you to be heard in a place where you need to be outspoken, you need to be able to, you can actually say what you think and nobody's going to touch you. And that's something that was very new for me when I kind of started working with the Europe region. And it took a little bit of time to break that barrier within me to say, all right, I can do this. So now this is a journey, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out where do I stand so that I don't change based on who I'm talking to. Imagine if I'm in a room with global leaders, and if I have to talk to somebody from China and I move to, they're standing next to somebody from America, and if I have to be doing two different things, it's difficult. So I'm still learning. It's a journey to understand how do I figure me out as an identity so that I can be my authentic self with everybody around. So I'm
Yes.
not mastered it. It's still going on, and it's a struggle for everybody, right? I'm sure those who are in Europe region would be struggling with this in the Asia region and in the Americas as well. But it's a learning journey, and as you keep getting more and more experience, you grow.
Yeah, of course. It's just flexing that muscle, right? It's always going to
Exactly.
be a little bit weird the first time you're like, trying to adjust to someone's culture that's not your own. But the more often you do it, the easier it gets, and the less difficult it is to try and face it as it keeps coming. You know what I mean? Like with repetition, things kind of become mundane and it becomes something you get used to. And I think that is really important, especially feel like we get this a lot when it comes to Americans, because like geographically and in our own mental capacity, we are incredibly isolated. Like we don't have the kind of cultural movement of people across borders, or at least we don't recognize it state to state like y'all do in Europe with smaller countries. And so I think it is really important that we talk about this as something that, yes, it's unfamiliar, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, and it doesn't make it hard, and it doesn't necessarily even make it scary. So let's just try it and see what happens.
You know what the weirdest thing was? So in my state, and you know, India is wide and there is every state is different. In my state, we don't really speak up, and we don't give our opinions unless we're asked. So we kind of tend to keep quiet. We have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of opinions, but we don't say it till somebody asks. And breaking that is the most difficult thing. And now I'm working with my academy managers to break that barrier for all of those in my state, you know, in my city from SoftwareOne, and move across that. And that's important to remember, even when you're working across culture, that each one comes with a different kind of background. So it's important to give a chance for everybody to speak. But at the same time, if you are a person who does not speak up, it's important to know that you're not going to have somebody who's always going to be, hey, Liz, why don't you talk now? You know, you need to speak up. So it's kind of both ways.
I like that, very much so. All right, Sam, I'm coming back to you for our next question here. If you kind of think, obviously it's going to depend role to role, but broadly speaking, are there any qualities that SoftwareOne really looks for in potential candidates? Obviously, again, broad strokes.
Yeah, just broadly speaking, I mean that's quite a big question. So at SoftwareOne, we have a number of values that we particularly value in people, and I think I'll just pick out a few rather than all of them. But so integrity, humble, passion, discipline, all of those are really important to us. So, but what we're looking for at interview is people have got a real genuine passion and about what they do and their job currently, but their skills and experience. I think there's a number of kind of tips that I would say that sometimes comes up. Obviously, I've been interviewing for a long time now, but I would say when you're applying for a job, whether you're wherever it is, SoftwareOne or wherever, to make sure that, it sounds really obvious, but so many people don't do it. Do some research on the company first, that you can demonstrate that you're genuinely interested in the company that you're applying for. And I know that for some people, you might be applying for a number of jobs, but make sure that you're prepared for the interview. You've researched the company, and you are genuinely interested in the company. That's always a good one, because there's quite a few times when I say to people, okay, so what do you know about SoftwareOne? And you can see them going, trying to find it quickly online, and then just reading off what. And so it just gives a good feeling for us if we feel like you're genuinely interested in the company and the role, obviously. So all of those, we want to see passion, we want to see enthusiasm. I would say, again, it sounds really, really obvious, but just be yourself. Don't try and be something that you're not. Just be yourself. Some practical tips, like really listen to the questions and answer as concisely as you can. So try not to go off on too many tangents, but try and answer the questions really concisely. And we just want to see enthusiasm, passion, drive, ambitious people. I mean, obviously, I'm mainly recruiting for sales for the UK and Ireland. So in other disciplines, people might not be huge extroverts, or it kind of depends on the role. But we're just looking for a general kind of passion and energy, I guess. And always, I think a sense of humor is great. Like we're not asking for loads of jokes on the interview or anything, but just like, a little bit of sense of humor, so that we can see the person behind who we're interviewing as well. So try and bring a bit of your personality into the interview as well. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Now, if people are trying to kind of give themselves an idea about what it's going to be like to be in the setting at SoftwareOne, obviously, site to site and team to team, this will change. But for you, how would you describe the culture at SoftwareOne?
Yeah, so I would describe it as very inclusive, very encouraging, very supportive. For me, it's all about people. So just to kind of backtrack a tiny bit, so I've been contracting for 30 years now, just under 30 years, and I have had various offers from companies to join them perm, and I've kind of considered them, but not gone for it. So the question would be why have you suddenly joined SoftwareOne after like almost 30 years of contracting? Why would you do that? It was a really big decision. For me, it was about the people and the culture of SoftwareOne. It's a very, very special place. Um, it's very team working. It's very collaborative. It's about people helping each other to succeed. So it's not kind of individualistic. I want to succeed and do really well on my own, and who cares about everyone else? It's not like that. It's very much about we help each other. So it's very collaborative working environment, very inclusive, and just very encouraging and very supportive. And the reason that there were talks about, hey Sam, do you want to come permanent with us? I thought, okay, this conversation again, with this company. But actually, I made that decision in March, and I actually went perm after so long of contracting, because it is such a special place, and the people that I work with are so encouraging and supportive. And that's the reason why I took that huge step and said goodbye to clients who I've had for years and years and years, and actually took that step, and I have no regrets about it. I know it was the right decision. So I think for me it's all about people around me, people who are encouraging, and we help each other to be successful for the business.
Yes. I mean, I feel like this is something that we talk about a lot, right? When people talk about what they like about their company, almost always, if you've got somebody that's happy in their role, almost always they will tell you they love the people that they work with. Because let's be real, we don't go into work and work with a room full of computers. We work with the people, across that are sitting at those machines. And this is a place that you spend so much time. And even if you're not physically in a location, you are still expending a lot of mental energy thinking about all of these people all of the time. So you want to be, or at least I do, I want to be surrounded by people that I can actually stand for 3 minutes at a time, right? I want to be around people that are working towards a lot of the same goals that I am. I want to be around people who want to continuously grow and learn.
Yeah. And I think also like we've heard this lots of times before, but if people are really happy in their jobs and they're really happy with those working around them, then you're going to work really well and do really well, and obviously that benefits the company. So it's a win-win situation.
Yes, of course. All right. Next question, we're going to go to Mariana. So let me pull you up on stage here. Mariana, could you tell us a little bit about the environment that SoftwareOne creates to support women, especially within the IT departments?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a very important subject. So we are really focused at SoftwareOne to try to bring more women into our company. I can share that we're very happy, like 34% of our employees are women till these dates. So that's a good number. We're above industry standard, but obviously that's not enough for us, and especially within the IT department. Usually those are the departments with the least amount of women. So this year, basically, we have really focused on making sure that SoftwareOne is a safe space for everyone, not just for women. It's for every employee within SoftwareOne. And we got our leaders, our senior leadership, to basically state on it, and we have a video obviously of them stating that they are focused and they are committed on creating safe spaces and what safe spaces mean for SoftwareOne. And to be able to basically have these sometimes difficult conversations with your employees, that for leadership it can be, or for managers sometimes it can be daunting, like how can I have these conversations with my employees? I don't want to make someone uncomfortable, or they don't know how to treat these topics. But everyone is in a journey and to learn, so we're very focused at SoftwareOne on that. And to me, the best example of seeing how SoftwareOne has been improving this and the commitment is seeing how different committees or different communities have been created within SoftwareOne. So particularly we have a woman in BIT. BIT is our business IT department. That is a committee created by women within the department, and basically they get together every so often, and they have workshops and they have activities for them to be sure that they interact within each other, because they are part of different teams within the same departments. So there needs to be a sense of community. You need to know the other women that you're that are from your same department. And basically, yeah, like for me, that's the best example of how SoftwareOne is doing a good job in creating community and making women feel safe for them to create their own employee resource group. And I think that the other thing that I would like to add is the leadership, the female leadership that we have within SoftwareOne. Like we have leaders such as Julia, which is the chief HR. We have leaders such as Susana, which is the chief marketing. But we have a lot of, I am very lucky to work with a lot of female managers and female heads of different departments. So we have a lot of women in leadership position that they have paved the road, but they can also inspire other women into growing within SoftwareOne, into feeling that they are heard and that this is a company where it's for everyone, women included.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think it's, I don't think it's an unfamiliar statement by this point, that, if you can see something, it makes it a lot easier for you to envision yourself doing that, right? And so the visibility aspect is massive, as well as the safety aspect. Like you said, like generally speaking, women have excelled at creating community and helping each other and trying to rise, mostly under duress, but we have excelled at these things. So if you are in a situation and a setting where we're continuing to do that, clearly we feel safe to do so. Clearly you feel supported, or you feel like this is not going to be a problem with the organization. So I very much appreciate that. I think that's great. All right, Liz, I want to go back to you. So let me pull you up on stage here. There we go. I want to talk a little bit more about the SoftwareOne Academy and its role in developing talent. Can you expand on that a little for us?
Of course. The SoftwareOne Academy is open for all recent graduates, career changers, and for those who've taken a break from work and they want to return to the work environment after their career break. It could be any reason. You just wanted a break, you've needed to step away for medical reasons, family, whatever it is. So there are 3 different programs, right? So for recent graduates and career changes, the programs like this, we offer learning opportunities, a safe space where you can practice what you learn, make mistakes and grow. It's like a nice little bubble. You will work autonomously with support and guidance from your mentors in the business and in the academy. So there are various layers that's provided for you. You will also learn to collaborate with peers, team members, and become a little more self-reliant. It will be different from your college experience where it's not university. You are going to be given all the tools that you need, and then you learn to work with it. I always compare it to a thali. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, or if you watch Korean drama, you've seen all the little side dish that they have and the little rice bowl that they have. We provide all of that. It's up to you to mix it, mash it to what you need, and then eat it, right? So that's what the academy provides. It's a way for you to become and understand what you need, where you want to be, and then ensure that you are productive to be able to work with the business from day one. And we work with the business to understand what is your role going to be, and then we create a curriculum based on that. So it's all sides. So the business tells us what you need, what they need, and we work with you and we create something for you to be successful. That's the first program, which we call the incubator program. The second one is the apprentices program, which is for anybody in the vocational training institutions. They want to come in. We've got this in 8 different countries. It's quite famous in EMEA. I'm sure if you're from Europe, you know about the apprenticeship program. Germany is big on it, Netherlands, Spain, France, wherever you go, you have apprentices, FP dual studies. So we have those coming in as well. And we provide the support in terms of curriculum, in terms of doing rotations with different teams. For example, let's say you're joining an application services team and you are in the delivery. You start with delivery because that's where most junior roles start, right? But for the apprentices, what we do is we give them 6 months in the delivery, and then we put them into a design phase for 3 months. So they understand what happens before delivery. Then we put them a little bit in after delivery in the implementation phase. So they understand what happens after delivery. So they get the whole project lifecycle. And by the time they finish their schooling, They are ready and they already know what they're going to be doing. So then when we convert them to a full-time employment, full-time contract, they are already gearing to start. They've already worked on this. They are more confident about, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can be productive. I know what I'm doing and I feel more valued in the team as well. So that's the second program. The third one, which is super, super close to my heart, is the returnship program. So those who've taken a break in their career and they've done, let's say, a HR generalist role, and they've taken a 3-year break for whatever reasons it may be, and they want to come back, you know how hard it is. I mean, in different countries, it's different, but many countries, it is difficult to come back. You're just looking for that foot in the door to get in, to get that opportunity. So we provide that opportunity with a 3-month contract. And once you get in, this is, of course, an opportunity given to help the business. So you get to work with the business. You see what you kind of polish all your skills that's kind of rusted. And then once you finish the 3 months, you finish your contract with us, you look for another job and you move. But you move with a reference letter from us and probably also a LinkedIn reference, the recommendation. We kind of write down, what have you done? What did you do? How have you made an impact in our organization? So whoever you're interviewing with has something that they can look at saying, this is fresh, this is new, this person is not irrelevant or obsolete in terms of what they have done before. They've done this now. So those are the 3 programs in the Academy. And
the chat section is lighting up. People are very excited about this, like very, very, very excited about these programs. Okay, couple quick follow-up questions here. Okay, Rosie Smith had a great question. It's awesome that you're proactive in recruiting women. How do men feel about having such a huge focus on women, and how do you help them become allies in this objective? I really appreciate this question because a lot of times when we start to focus on one group, another group, needy or otherwise, shall we say, wants to talk about it as well, which is perfectly fine. But how do we talk about this? Within SoftwareOne, how do y'all make sure that allies are on board with outreach efforts like this?
Sam, do you want to take this? Do you want me to take this?
Yeah, I can. I'm happy to take that. It's a really good question and a really important question. So we don't, we never want in any situation a kind of us and them, situation, us women here, you guys over there. We never ever want a situation like that. So I can give a really good example. Last week, we had our Women in Tech group met. So we meet once a month. In the UK, and it was all about parenting tips and tricks. And so it was a really useful session, and I was on the panel for that. And we had one of our sales leaders on who's a guy on the panel. So, and it was really good because, he could give his perspective on things as in terms of from him being a parent himself. And he, as far as I understand it, he co-parents. So, how he balances work with family life. And so it was really good. So, and we always say for all our events, men are invited. It's not a women only event. We want the guys to come and join us and give us their views on things as well. And we really want to work together. It's very much about working together, very much about allyship. So it was great, this panel. It wasn't all women. We had this guy on the panel, and it was just really, really good to have him on as well. And also he could talk about, because he's a sales leader and he has women in his team, talk about flexibility, that if people need to go, if they need to pick up their child early from childcare, or whatever it is, about flexibility and how family life is so important. So that's just one way that we, for all our events, we always invite everybody to come and join us.
I love that. Thank you for addressing this. This is a very good question. And Rosie has asked a bunch, so never apologize for asking questions, Rosie. You're making my job infinitely easier. Thank you for all of this. But I love questions like this because these are important issues, right? We don't want people to not feel included, but it's also important to recognize that some groups need extra support. They need spaces that are safe to be themselves. And when you look at any level of exclusion from something, as someone who, yes, like I'm a woman, I sit in a lot of buckets that are kind of special interest groups, right? Neurodivergent, ADHD, I'm mentally ill, all kinds of stuff. But you have to look at whether that exclusion is because they don't want you to have something, or it's because they need something that you don't need to be involved in. So I very much appreciate the fact that, these groups can serve multiple purposes, right? You don't just have to be one thing, and it can be very, very helpful for a group like that to exist as both a support function as well as outreach, education, and, and understanding. I think that's wonderful. All right, let's keep moving, y'all. We got a little less than 10 minutes left before the end of the session today. It always goes really, really fast. So I want to keep making sure we're going through these questions. I want to revisit a couple. So Liz, I'm going to pull you back up on stage here. Rosie had asked about how hard it is to manage your day across multiple time zones. So we've talked about, across multiple cultures and what that means. But what does it look like for you to try and manage your day across multiple time zones when you have to manage people that might be all over?
I do 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. shift. That's the time that I work. So that covers Australia, and that covers Colombia as well, and all the way to California. So I get to spend at least an hour everywhere if I need to. I have great team members who work with me. I have talent acquisition teams, and I have my academy managers who are super self-reliant, and I can just trust them to run the show. They just need me there to, oversee, to ask questions. If there's a problem, they want me to come in and answer or guide them the right way. So that makes my job infinitely easier. But I do 11 to 8, and I'm a night owl, so I can't do early morning. So 11 works perfect for me.
Love the advice. Okay. Let's see here. Sam, I'm going to bring you back up again. This person had asked, what are the chances for a non-native English speaker to succeed in a developer interview with a B2 level of English? So could you tell us broad strokes, if someone wants to apply and they're not a native English speaker, is there a baseline for what y'all require?
To a role in England, I presume.
I believe so. It didn't say, but I'm going to guess yes.
So to be honest, for developer roles, I'm not involved in that side of things. So I can only answer from, my experience is sales. And obviously we would need people who, in sales roles, we would need people who are fluent in English. For developer roles, I would have thought that it's probably not so key. But yeah, I'm not, aside of sales roles, I'm not really, I don't know, to be honest, but I can find out.
No, that's okay. That's it. Keep in mind,
I
y'all,
could
we're
answer
grabbing
that.
Somebody else can
go for
answer.
it,
Yes.
Yeah.
I can answer that. So any role that requires you to talk directly to customers, you need to have good control and confidence in the language. And English is important because that's the only language everybody kind of understands, right? Whichever language you're looking at, you need to make sure that you're at least a B2. And if you have B2, it's completely fine, because C1 is not a far cry from B2. It's just a matter of you putting in that extra effort. At SoftwareOne, we have a program where you can learn your language, whether it is German, French, Spanish. I'm trying to learn German right now, failing miserably, but I'm trying to learn German right now. And English is something that they offer as well. We give you live training. We assess where do you stand. And if you want to improve your language, there are sessions that we take. We have a partner, the partner goes through where you can improve your language skills. But if you are someone outside applying for a developer role, I don't think you need a C1 level. If you are looking at a developer who's going to be in the back end, just a juniorish role. But if you're not a senior, where you are a solution architect kind of a thing, where you're going to be speaking to clients, it definitely needs to be a little higher.
Okay.
But remember that language is not about the level, it's about people understanding each other. If you can understand what the other person's saying and they are able to understand you, that's enough. I can be C2 in whichever language, and if you don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, to quote Chris Tucker, I'm failing miserably. And it's never the receiver who's failing. It's always the person who's communicating who's failing, right? So don't let language stop you, but it is always good to see how you can improve.
Yes. Oh, I love this. Thank you, Liz. Great, great, great question and great answer as well. All right, let's see. We've got a bunch of questions that came in from the chat, so let's make sure we've got those taken care of. Oh, okay. So we had a couple different people that asked about like transitioning into tech, especially if you are, in the words of Nikisha Rainbow, an elder millennial. So that's absolutely me. So let's talk about this pivot, what that could look like, and what someone's experience might be within SoftwareOne if they are pivoting into this industry. Let's see. Liz, do you want to start us and then maybe we can go to Sam?
Unfortunately, I have to because it's again an academy topic. So academy covers career changes as well. So anybody who has experience in maybe 5 years or so in sales and they want to pivot to a technical role, they start with the academy. But the thing to remember is your sales is great. If you're going into a managerial role, it might be lateral. But if you're going to start like technical, wherein you're becoming a developer or a Azure cloud implementation person, you need to start from scratch again. So it's going to be a career developer role. It might take you a little bit of time. You may grow quicker because of all the experience that you have. At SoftwareOne, you come in through the academy, we give you the skills that you need to succeed, and then you grow from there. I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. Now the follow-up that we had on this, people want to know how to apply to that program and what their next steps should be like, once they start the application. So obviously, again, this is probably going to be a long opener. But Liz, how would you respond?
So we, unlike the other organizations where they hire in droves and then we put you on bench waiting for you to get to a role that's going to open up, we only open up roles if there is an availability for someone to join us full time. We don't open roles if there is no seat at the table for the person to join us. So please do visit our careers page. Please do visit the SoftwareOne Academy page and send us your resume. If there is an opening, a role that we have within SoftwareOne that's suitable for your profile, our wonderful TA team, they are working round the clock to make sure that you succeed and we succeed. They're going to reach out to you and they're going to start the process. The process is quite simple. You will have a TA round. You will have maybe a test, I am not sure. And you will definitely have a business round. And once that is over, then it moves on to your HR round and then things happen. Sam, if I went off into something that's not lateral, please correct me.
Yeah, on the assessment, so all of our candidates have an assessment, and that's even if for internal candidates as well. So if we have somebody internally who's moving into a different role and they haven't done an assessment for a year, then we ask them to do an assessment for that particular job.
Ooh, there we go. Good to know. Love to hear it. All right. Okay, we have less than 5 minutes left. So I am going to bring all of us up on stage here. There we go. All right. So last kind of thing that I like to address, last question that I like to ask people. Mariana, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite thing about working at SoftwareOne?
There are a lot of things, but I think for me, it's working with my team. Like I am very fortunate in the sense that I have great people that I work with and that inspire me and that sort of push me to be better and to learn new things. So for me, it's the people around me. SoftwareOne has been a great school and I'm very fortunate to be with the people that I am working with.
I like that. Great answer, Mariana. All right, Sam, I'm going to you. If you had to describe the company culture in one word, how would you describe it?
Inclusive.
Ooh, okay. Why do you pick inclusive?
Because it is inclusive. It's inclusive of everybody and really encouraging and supportive and collaborative. So yeah, that would be the word.
I like it. All right, Liz, I'm going to have you bring us home here. What is your top tip for somebody who's interviewing with SoftwareOne? It doesn't have to be SoftwareOne specific, but do you have like a top interview tip that is like kind of your go-to? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Be confident. That shows, that comes through. Yeah. And don't, even if you're talking about something that you're not very sure of, admit it so that you're honest. And the honesty also makes you a little more confident. So confidence is is difficult because you are seeing people who are new, you're seeing people who you've not met before. You are trying to put your best foot forward, and therefore it is very, very easy to become nervous and you've got sweaty palms. So one thing that I've learned from my pastor is eat a boiled egg before you go for anything that's going to be nerve-wracking. So that kind of fills your stomach, gives you a little bit more confidence, your palms are not sweaty, and you are able to speak a little more confidently.
Genius. Like that. The long-lasting protein is an absolutely great idea. I very much appreciate that. No, I think that's great. Okay. All right, y'all. In the last 3 minutes we have, let me pull up my screen here. There we go. I just want to go back to and review a little bit about SoftwareOne's company page on powertofly.com. So I grabbed the link. I'm throwing that in the chat deck or in the chat feature right now. So you guys should be able to get to this page. Basically, a couple things that I want to highlight here. We talked a little bit about the jobs tab, about how you can apply to stuff. The one thing I will reiterate here again is that if you are applying to a role via a link from powertofly.com, make sure that you completely, where did that go? There we go. Make sure that you completely follow and like fill out all stages of the application, everything that you're prompted to do. So that way you can make sure that your application has been fully submitted, that you are, good to go there. So very much recommend that. The other thing that I want to highlight here, especially based on what Sam had said earlier about like doing your research on the company, okay? I also did this at one point in time. I went into an interview thinking that I was interviewing with a company that made packing supplies, and come to find out they did audiobook publishing. So, learn from Meg's mistake here, okay? Check out SoftwareOne's page on powertofly.com. Now, in like overview is really important. That'll show you like past events that they've done with us. So it's a really good way to get to some quick like content to look at. Upcoming events are going to show, so that's also going to tell you like, stuff that they've got going forward, so you can register ahead of time for things if you want. Jobs is kind of self-explanatory. The other thing I like to talk about is the About section and company insights. So About is a really good like kind of primer to start. If you just heard about SoftwareOne and you're like, I have no idea what they are or what they do, About is a really good place to start there. The other thing I like is company insights. Now, company insights is going to give you a quick wrap up of things like their blog posts, Meet the Recruiter videos they've published. So this is a really, really good way to go if you want some quick information about SoftwareOne, and if you want to be able to comment on or ask questions about something that maybe isn't, I don't know, let's say the latest Business Insider article that's been forwarded 1,000 times on LinkedIn. So just a heads up, y'all, this is a great place for you to get more information, a great place for you to get talking points to ask about. So just really, really utilize this page, okay, y'all? The other thing I like to highlight here is something called the Follow Network. So it's this big pink button right here. My weatherman pointing is getting a little bit better. So big pink button that says follow. What that's going to do, smashing that button, is going to put SoftwareOne on your radar. So Power to Fly is going to tell you when they post new roles. So let us take some of the lift off of you in that job search. The other thing it's going to do is we're going to tell SoftwareOne that you're interested in working with them even before you fill out an application. So this is a very good option if you are actively seeking but don't see anything right this second that's like, I have to apply to that. So it's a really good option. It also is really great if you are just kind of curious about what's out there, because that way when you are actively seeking and want to like do something and see what's going on, you already have a short list of companies on powertofly.com that walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to DEIB issues. Now, we are at the end of time today, but I want to take one extra minute to say a huge thank you to our SoftwareOne partners on today's event. Sam, Liz, and Mariana, this was wonderful. We really, really appreciate y'all sharing your time and your expertise. The prep work that goes on behind the scenes does not go unnoticed. And I, as always, am very grateful to get to work with the SoftwareOne team. So thank you all three of you for coming out today, sharing your time and your experience. We very, very appreciate it. Last but not least, huge thank you to our audience members as well. Y'all, I have a job because you come to events like this, but I'm even more grateful that you come to these events because you just took 60 minutes out of your day to do something positive for yourself and your career. That is not easy, okay? It's not simple. It's pretty thankless. So just listen to Meg, and whether you're a little treat person or not, give yourself that pat on the back, gold star, cookie, Starbucks drink, whatever it is that's getting you through the hellscape of life. Just do it for yourself, okay? Thank you for doing this for yourselves, for coming out. And, you know, we really appreciate it, y'all. Now, whether this was your first event or your 500th, I'm so, so grateful you came, and we cannot wait to see you again on a new event. So for the rest of the day, go out and have the day you deserve, y'all. We can't wait to see you back here sometime soon. Bye.